What is social psychology? Social psychology is, I think, the most interesting subfield of psychology. It is the scientific study of how individuals' thoughts, feelings, and behavior are shaped by the actual, implied, or imagined presence of others. So let me unpack that. We're interested, as a social psychologist, in how people's thoughts about things and what they're feeling and how they're acting are shaped by other people. Those other people don't have to be in the room with you. You can be imagining them. You can be sort of they're there by implication. For example, when you get up in the morning and you put on deodorant and you put on makeup, there's not another person probably in the room with you, but you're thinking about other people and your behavior, you're doing that. The clothes you pick out are shaped by other people. So social psychology is that domain of psychology that studies how we are affected by the social situation and other people. I would say there's two primary ones that most social psychologists would point to. And the first is the power of the situation. So what social psychology shows us more than any other field in psychology is just how powerful the social context is in affecting how we act and how we think and how we feel. So the second big idea in social psychology is that our behavior is shaped by our subjective construal of situations. Two people can look at the exact same thing and see different things, react to it in very different ways. So what we bring to a situation affects how we filter what we see. There's not necessarily a readout from the environment to our brains, but rather it goes through a filter. It's filtered by our personality, our experiences, our expectations. So what does that mean? It means that social psychologists follow the scientific method. We have theories, we have hypotheses, we test those hypotheses by collecting empirical data, and we do statistical analyses to see whether the effects that we get look like they are in fact robust or whether they're not. There's a couple different methods. Well, there's actually multiple methods that people use, but the two primary approaches that people take to studying social psychology are correlational and experimental. So correlations basically ask what are the natural associations between two variables. For example, what is the association between age and political views? And it turns out that as we age, people become more conservative. So there's a positive association between those two things. Or, for example, similarity of attitudes and liking. People tend to like people who are more similar to them. Or we become more similar to people that we like. So a correlation tells us the natural association, but it won't tell us whether liking is causing similarity or whether similarity is causing liking, and that's where the experimental method comes in. So the experimental method basically involves randomly assigning people to different conditions in an experiment, controlling as much as you can for random things that might affect the findings in your study, manipulating an independent variable, and measuring a dependent variable. So where do I see the future of social psychology? Well, one of the things that I think is so great about this particular field of psychology is how relevant it is to so many different domains of life. So social psychology, in a sense, reinvents itself in new domains. So we have organizational psychology that draws heavily on social psychology. We have political psychology that draws on social psychology. The field of communication draws on social psychology. We have environmental. The list goes on and on and on. The point I'm trying to make is that social psychology is a foundational discipline about how people's behavior and thoughts and feelings are shaped by other people. That is central to the human condition. So I think social psychology is alive and well, and it's increasingly relevant for today's world. So I think it has a robust future ahead.